If you're thinking of moving to the Philippines or dreaming of building your own Filipino palace in paradise, you're going to need to watch this video. In this episode, we'll be talking about the bureaucratic nightmare of all the steps involved in getting your building permit. There may not be any backflips into waterfall pools coming up, but if you're planning to build in the Philippines, this is essential viewing. Hello once again, and welcome to Barangay in the Barangay. We are still in England, watching raindrops roll down the glass of the conservatory, so you can deduce from that that the lottery fairy flew right past our house once again. Nonetheless, we will be travelling to the Philippines after Christmas, although not during January. We went during January 2023, and we were there for almost 4 weeks. And in all the time that we spent in the Visayas region, in Panay, Boracay, Cebu and Bohol, the weather was garbage. It was more like 4 weeks in Rochdale than the tropical paradise I'd hoped for. For instance, here I am, on top of the chocolate hills, having climbed all those steps all the way to the top. Here I am, at the top. It's pissing it down with rain again, which is not surprising for Bohol. Bohol is one place in the Philippines that I'm never coming back to. Well, in my defence, my grumpiness was due to it raining yet again. Rain made the Ati-Atihan fiesta a feat of endurance. A non-stop gale and steel grey seas meant that Boracay was not in all its splendour. Cebu was as hot as you would expect, but I think we spent half the time in the hotel room because a day of island hopping at that time might have been a bit more like the opening credits of Gilligan's Island rather than the Instagram perfection we had hoped for. And so, standing on top of the hill, expecting to see the 1,000 or so chocolate hills, but yet again being drenched in rain, caused my lid. But things change. And they have changed in a big way. Because now we are the proud owners of 3,593 square metre, or something like that, of a hillside in Badiang, Sikatuna, Bohol. And we want to build on it. A house to begin with, and other buildings to follow. So how do you go about it? Now, some people might imagine that being as the Philippines is a developing country and that it's renowned worldwide for its relaxed and happy vibe, that you simply rock up at your land with a shovel over your shoulder and set about building your Filipino palace. It's not like that in the slightest. And so, in this video, I'm going to spell it out, step by step, the process of which you go about getting the requisite permits. There are enough ways to have your house destroyed, be it by typhoon, by earthquake, by volcanic eruption, by flooding, by termites, by fire, or dissolving concrete hollow blocks, without you bringing in another way by being forced to demolish an illegally built house. So, without further ado, actually one further ado, this video is an attempt to explain current procedures. It should not take the role of legal advice, nor any assumption be made that it refers to the area in which you wish to build. I'm aiming for ballpark advice to give you some idea of how to go about things. The requirements for obtaining a building permit in the Philippines can and often do vary by location and are subject to regular change through updates. Take legal advice. However, generally speaking, you can expect to have to obtain the following permits and certificates. Architectural and engineering plans. The days of handing over a sketch drawn on a napkin to your builder are well and truly over. you will need to get a full set of architectural and engineering plans consisting of, but not restricted to, floor plans, elevations, foundation designs, staircase designs, window schedule, door schedule, sections, structural drawings, electrical layout, plumbing layout, and a drainage layout. Now, these drawings must be prepared by and signed off by a licensed architect and or engineer. As you know, I've had some drawings done and others I simply bought from Etsy. But the ones I bought from Etsy aren't comprehensive enough and don't take into account the location or the topography of the land that we've bought. They don't have any useful foundation details, consequently, which pertain to our land. They don't include electrical, nor plumbing, nor drainage drawings, and haven't taken into account the fact that we'll be building using a light steel framing system. And the biggest thing, if that wasn't enough, is that the plans I bought don't include the 4-metre wraparound veranda, nor the little things like the small adjustments we've made to doorways and the layout within the house. Or that, and the entire roof being flat and having a solar panel array on top of that. In fact, they're the equivalent of a sketch on the back of a fag packet. But they will serve as a foundation for what we want, because we both like the layout and the architect and structural engineer can take it all from there. On a side note from this, I noticed the other day that Google Maps have been driving their little car up the road again, past our land, and something they haven't done since 2016. And that means that the views of our land have finally been updated, and what was a narrow 5-metre paved road is now a 10-metre wide barangay road, and also somehow the land we bought doesn't seem so steeply sloped. But the most important update refers to one of the doom mongers I'd come across in previous conversations elsewhere on the internet. One of the ones with minimal regard for anything Filipinos, particularly builders, do. He said that we would run into all kinds of problems trying to get the officials in the barangay to understand what the light steel framing system entailed. To quote him, "I've yet to meet a Pinoy construction worker that is good at his job and at the top of his game. As I see them, they are all Cupid stunts." Anyway, the updated photos also reveal that there is some extension being built to the barangay hall, which is 200 metres, 300 metres down the road, and the extension is being built in light steel framing. So it's unlikely that our miserable friend's prediction that if it doesn't involve concrete hollow blocks, cocoa lumber, corrugated iron sheets or such, then a Filipino has no idea what to do with it, and the authorities will never grant a license to build using it. Perhaps our friend is still dining out on some 20-year-old anecdotes. Anyway, back to our list of hoops we need to jump through. Next on the list is the location clearance, aka the zoning certificate, which is obtained from the local government, I believe, and that will be, in my case, the municipality of Lubbock in Bohol, as I think they're in charge of local zoning. I have a dog come to join me. It is typically required in order to make sure that you don't build a cement factory next to somebody's brand new house, or have somebody build a cement factory next to my brand new house. Agricultural, residential, industrial and commercial zones might have a limited amount of mixing together, but in no way should there be carte blanche building. A step down from the local government level is the barangay. You will need to get a barangay clearance, so be prepared to do a little schmoozing here of the Barangay Captain and of the local community. Having one of your neighbours, carabao, run over by a delivery truck is not going to go well, particularly if you just cover it over with some grass and pretend it wasn't your fault. The tyre tracks will be a dead giveaway. If you do inadvertently cause the death of a neighbour's livestock, best to be magnanimous in your compensation, because if they object to your construction, the Barangay Captain will not side with you when there are 1,000 citizens in revolt in the barangay, and not only are they all related to one another, they're also related to the Barangay Captain. Next, assuming all the local carabao are still chewing grass and the barangay is tranquil and compliant, you're going to need to prove that you own the land, either by showing the title deed or by showing a deed of sale. If you lease the land, permission from the landowner will be required to be shown to prove that you are allowed to build on it. Then sundry other governmental departments might be required to sign off on your project. If it is in an environmentally sensitive area, perhaps an environmental compliance certificate might be sought from the Department of Environmental and Natural Resources. A fire safety inspection certificate from the Bureau of Fire Protection might also be required. And then, and only then, can you begin to fill in, or as they say in the Philippines, fill up, the building permit application form which you picked up from the municipal office when you were there earlier, or that you, having forgotten it, went back for it. Lastly, you're going to need to pay all of the sundry fees, charges, taxes, permits and certificates, together with the various inspections that will need to be carried out as your build progresses. Then you can go back to the municipality with all your paperwork and submit your application. Now, a word of warning, all of this could take as long as 10 months to get together. The usual method of getting a building permit, however, is not to do any of what I've just told you to do. In fact, I'm actually telling you not to do it. It's a complicated game of snakes and ladders, in that if you get a step wrong, you'll be moving backwards and not forwards. Or is that Ludo? Or hopscotch? I don't know, I forget these days. Anyway, what I'm saying is that when your architect or your contractor quotes you what you feel is a bit of an extortionate tax on the foreigner for getting you the required certificate, it's probably wise to accept it gratefully and gracefully. He probably knows the municipality officers by their first names, is related to the Barangay Captain by marriage, and knows every single shortcut to take. You don't. What you can take away with you regarding what I've explained in this video is that the price that he quotes you will include for all of the rigmarole, the botheration, the fees and charges associated with having someone else do all that work for you. And at the end of the day, what really matters is that you get that building permit and that your truck drivers always use their mirrors when reversing near Carabao. I hope you found this video informative and entertaining. If so, please don't forget to click on the like button down there and to subscribe if you haven't already. Take good care of yourselves. Chat soon.